Relationships are like muscles. If you don't work on them, they don't get stronger. Hey, good morning. This morning is August 5th, 2016. And today we're going to talk about strengthening the relationship. I know I've done I did a video on bettering relationships, things to do to fix the relationship if there's some difficulties in it. But today we're going to talk about strength. This concept of strength I really like. A lot of times I don't think we think about strengthening a relationship. We work out a muscle, we work out our brain, but we don't think about how we can strengthen a relationship. And I think every relationship needs strengthened. Whether you have been married for 5 years or 50 years, every relationship needs strengthened. So this concept of strengthening is something that a lot of people don't even think about. They don't think about if their relationship is going strong or if they're just in the relationship. I think this is a common misconception that people think, hey, my loved one's happy with me, where everything's going fine, but is everything really going fine? A lot of times there are issues that are not even being addressed, that are not even being dealt with, that are in a relationship. In my personal relationship, the last person I was dating, there were some issues that I didn't deal with, and there were some issues that were there that were not being discussed, and I kind of thought they were being discussed, but they really weren't. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is communication. I think communication is probably the most important part of strengthening a relationship, if we admit it or not. I think it's the one thing that people think they're communicating a lot of times in life, but really they aren't. And I've heard it said many times that, I'm talking to him all the time, but he's just not listening. Or, I'm trying to communicate with her, but she just doesn't understand me. And so this concept of communication can mean different things to different people. A lot of people think communication is just verbal, but you'd be amazed how much communication is non-verbal. If you know me, I'm a professional dog trainer. And this is one of the things that I communicate a lot of times with my clients, that most of our communication with our animals is non-verbal. It's with our body language, and it's not with our words. And so a lot of times us men especially, we think we're communicating, but we're really not. So find the way that your wife, girlfriend, partner communicates, and try to communicate with them on a level that they can understand and that they're really hearing you. One of the best things I heard recently is spend less screen time with them. In other words, it's really easy to send a text, and it's really easy to send an email and say, hey, I love you, but that is, to me, a breakdown of communication. Sit down with them face to face, look into their eyes, and really communicate with them. The next thing we're going to talk about is respect. Aretha Franklin sung a whole song about this concept of respect. And this is a really, really, really important one when we talk about respecting our partner. So we can respect our partner with our time. We can respect our partner with our communication. We can respect our partner with listening. This is one of the big things I hear a lot of times from women is, my man is just not listening to me. They want to talk, but we're not listening. They want to communicate with us, but we're not listening. So sit down with your wife or your girlfriend and just listen to them, and that will show them immense respect. The next one we're going to talk about is quality time, not quantity of time. I love this concept when I have friends that are in relationships. They're like, my girlfriend wants me, or my wife wants me to spend the weekend with her. I gotta spend the whole weekend with her. I want to go do these other things, and I gotta spend the weekend with her. And they're thinking the long quality or the long quantity of time they have to spend the whole weekend when they want to go do things. You would be amazed if you sat down with your wife, your girlfriend, your partner, and watched their favorite show with them for 2 or 3 hours, or you went on a walk with them for a couple hours. You'd be amazed how much they feel that is quality time instead of having to spend the whole weekend with them. To be honest with you, probably your partner wants to do the things that they want to do over the weekend too, and not see you all weekend. In fact, I think there is such thing as spending too much time together. This is one of the things that over my lifetime I have to kind of realize. Me personally, I have the desire and want to spend as much time as I can with the person that I'm with, and often I forgot that that person has a life, and that person wants to have their own freedom and do their own things sometimes without me. And sometimes that separation, which we'll talk about in a minute, can actually strengthen the relationship. I can remember in the last relationship I was in, that was one of my difficulties. I wanted to see her all the time, and what I learned after things didn't work out is she really felt that I was manipulating her time, and that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I didn't even think about trying to manipulate her time. To me, I thought I was showing her honor and respect by wanting to spend all my free time together, because I am busy and she's busy, and in the end I really realized that was just not the case. So I know I kind of touched on this a minute ago, but time apart, you'd be amazed how much time apart actually can benefit us. If your wife or girlfriend go on a trip, by the time they're gone for a day or two, we start to realize how much we miss them, how much they're important to us, how much in our daily lives they mean to us. And I think this is something that happens in relationships, where relationships kind of come stagnant, where the person's just there every day and we start to kind of take them for granted. So, spend some time apart. Go fishing with your buddy, or if you're a woman, go have some girl time for a day or a weekend. You'd be amazed when you come back, your man's going to show you that much more attention, or vice versa. Next one we're going to talk about is love languages. This concept of love languages, we're not going to dive into a whole lot. To be honest with you, I have not really studied a whole lot about them, so I really can't speak from a personal point of view, or a really in-depth. But love languages, different people communicate love in different ways. I find that men, we are not very affectionate. A lot of times we're not very huggy. We're not very touchy-feely, let's be honest, unless we're trying to lead into something else. But women really need that. Women need that physical touch. You'd be amazed if you don't hug or touch your wife or your girlfriend for a couple days or maybe a week. Their mind starts to wander. They automatically think, oh my gosh, there's somebody else, or they're getting this affection from somebody else. So find out what your partner's love language is and feed that, and I guarantee that's going to help you a lot. The next one we're going to talk about is appreciation. This is something, once again, man, I learned some important lessons. The last person I was with, she went way beyond probably what the average girlfriend would do. That's just one of the things I really appreciate about her. But she really showed me a lot of appreciation. She went to me to my dog events. She went to a couple classes that I teach, and she supported me. A lot of times she'd like, hey, I'm getting off work, you want me to bring you Starbucks? These little things show appreciation. And I don't take it wrong, it wasn't one-sided. I also did little things. I remember one time I brought her coffee to work, I brought her lunch to work. I would try to send her a text every day. Every day I'd tell her how much I love her, or I'd call her and tell her how much I love her. At the end of the day, I tried to take some time, and even though I was tired and I wanted to go to sleep, I tried to at least take some time and just talk to her. We lived in 2 different towns, and we weren't able to see each other necessarily every day, but sometimes just taking the time and talking on the phone, I tried to show my appreciation that way. And a couple times there's a couple times I would take the kids and try to let her have just a little bit of mom time, if it wasn't just to kind of pamper herself or do something special for herself or just go shopping or whatever it is. I tried to do that. And so, show some appreciation to your partner, and find little ways that you can show that appreciation. Next one we're going to talk about is positive versus negative. Sometimes we get caught up in the negative. We hate our jobs, we're annoyed by our friends, and a lot of times that can transfer into our relationships. I can remember, once again, I'm bringing up, my past relationship to try to express that you are not alone in these. Everything I'm telling you, I have made these mistakes. I have learned from my own personal experience. So I'm sharing that with you, so I can relate, and we're kind of on the same level. But getting back to it, I remember that My girlfriend was not happy with her job, and she was going through a hard time with her job. She was having some difficulty at work, and I remember she'd bring that home, and I'd love to support her and talk to her about it. I remember week after week just coming home and just being frustrated, and that negativity, yeah, it did affect our relationship, and vice versa. I was having some difficulty in some of my relationships, and there was some negativity, and I remember, kind of talking to her about that. But a lot of times we don't realize how much that negativity can actually affect our current relationship. So try to balance out the positive and the negative in the relationship. It's good to talk to your partner about what's going on in your life. This is the joy of having a partner and having a relationship and having that communication. You'd be amazed that your partner really does want to hear it. And I did want to hear how her day was, and I did want to hear about what she was frustrated, because I love to communicate with her, and I love to share my opinion and try to work things out with her. Be amazed how much that negativity can actually end up affecting your own relationship. Next thing we're going to talk about, and this is a big one, choose your battles. What's important to bring up and what's not important to bring up. I think as men, we sometimes are a little bit nitpicky, like, my girlfriend, or my wife, I just can't make her happy. She wants me to do the yard, or, when I come home, I just want to sit on the couch and I want to relax, but she wants me to, do the dishes or do this or then. And this little bit of nitpicking is kind of like a scab that we constantly pick that never really heals. And pretty soon what happens is all that nitpicking turns into an infection. That infection ends up killing the body. And so choose your battles. Bring up what's important, but also think about what's not important. Sometimes let the little things go. Now that doesn't mean don't voice your opinion if something's bothering you. That doesn't mean don't talk about things that are important to you or that are troubling you. But in the end, choose the battles. What's really important? Are there things that you can let slide? Are there things that you can just kind of either do yourself or maybe give it a little time and they'll kind of work themselves out? So pick your battles. The last thing we're going to talk about is sex. Okay, so I am speaking of sex between a married couple. I know there are some young people that maybe watch this video, and I'm not encouraging you to have sex outside of marriage. But sex is really, really important. I can tell you from the standpoint of being in a wheelchair, sometimes sex is a little bit different. Sex is kind of think outside the box. And it's, when you're in a wheelchair, it's something that kind of has to be, I hate to say it, be reinvented. And a lot of times we don't really take in consideration our partner's feelings, our partner's emotions. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment of the physical act, and we don't really think about all the aspects of the importance of sex. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. It's kind of a taboo subject. It's probably a subject that we could shoot a whole video about. But I said this before in some of my other blogs. Sex starts in the morning. For those guys that when you come home and your wife's tired and you try to get her in the mood and she's like, I just want to go to bed. Sex starts in the morning. What I mean by that is start by giving your wife a big hug, kiss, maybe kiss her neck, whatever it is. Start preheating the oven in the morning or throughout the week, or do things that are really special to your wife, and I guarantee you that fire will be stoked. That fire will grow, and in the end, you won't have to try. You won't have to ask. She will want to be there. And on the other flip side of that, if you are too busy in life, or there is something emotionally going on in your relationship, and you guys are kind of there's a wedge being pushed between you guys, and you guys are not having that physical contact, Either you'll go weeks or a month and you won't have that physical contact. I guarantee it's a relationship that is sick, and so it's a relationship that is not going to last. So you really, really do need that. And remember, if you are not watering the garden, somebody else will water your garden for you. So if you're using sex as a let me start over again. If you are using sex as a manipulation tool to either get back at your loved one because you're mad at them, or try to get something from them, or make a point to let them know that you're not happy, or whatever the case is, a lot of times if you are not watering the garden, there's a good chance that somebody else will come along and water that garden for you, and the relationship will end. It's kind of like a flower that you don't water. If you don't water that flower, it's gonna die, it's gonna wither away. So anyways, hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope this guys helps you. If you're thinking, wow, this guy's got all the answers, wow, this guy just knows about relationships, do you know why I can make these videos? Because I've screwed up. Do you know why I can communicate this way with you, and why I can be so passionate about some of these subjects? It's because I'm 40 years old, and trust me, I have screwed up. Everything that I share with you, every thought process, every idea, everything I research and I make a video for you guys are things that are important to me, in areas that I've messed up in my own life. So if you take nothing from these, take my life as an example of sometimes what not to do, but sometimes what to do, and just know that I'm not better than you. I don't have it all figured out, but I guarantee you that I listen to my own words when I study, and when I read about these things, and when I prepare for these videos, I'm thinking, wow, this is something I need to do. And my dream and my hope is, next person I meet, next relationship I get into, or if God willing, the person I love comes back, I guarantee you I will make things better. I will not make the same mistakes. Hell, I'll probably make new ones and be able to make videos about them, but I guarantee this is a learning process for me, and I hope to be a better person myself. So don't think I'm better than you, and don't think that I have it made. So thanks guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. As always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button, like this on Facebook, share it on Facebook. I really appreciate you guys' support. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday, and God bless.